7 signs to a Vancouver real estate slowdown or bubble in 2017. Hey guys, it's Gary Wong from GaryWongRealty.com again. People know me as the Christian Realtor. I'm also the author of the book on Vancouver real estate and also a director for the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, Vancouver Westside Division. In this video, we're going to talk about the 7 signs that are pointing to a Vancouver real estate slowdown or bubble in 2017 and what you need to be aware of, and basically a general 2017 Vancouver real estate market forecast. Okay, let me start off with the first sign. There were talks earlier in the year where I think it was the NDP or the Green Party, they were saying that the foreign buyers tax is not enough. They want to increase the foreign buyers tax from 15% to 30%. Even though the realtor community knows that that's not going to be feasible and it's not going to be something that the political party will implement, it put a lot of fear in the public's perspective, and it creates a lot of hesitation in potential buyers and potential sellers in the market. Sign number 2, the federal government decided to change some rules when it comes to principal residence capital gains tax exemption. And what they're saying is that the only portion that will be exempt is the portion that you're living in. What this means is that, let's say you're living in a house and you rent out the basement and you rent out the laneway house. And let's say your home is worth $2 million. And then you live in it for 5 years and you rent out the basement suite and the laneway house for 5 years. 5 years later, let's say your house is worth $3 million. So that $1 million appreciation, you think that it would be capital gains tax exempt, but that's not the case. The only portion that would be exempt is the portion that you were living in. So if you're living upstairs, that portion of the home would be exempt. And the basement portion of the home plus the laneway house portion of the house would not be exempt from capital gains tax. So let's say the basement and the laneway accounts for 50% of the home, then you're only exempt for $500,000 out of that appreciation of $1 million. What does this do to the general public? It disincentivizes rentals. So the person who lives in their principal residence will think twice whether to rent their basement suite or their laneway house, because when it comes to selling the property, that part will not be capital gains tax exempt. So what does this do? If they hesitate in renting out the basement and laneway house and they think, well, why don't we just keep it empty then? It decreases supply and it doesn't help the Vancouver's housing affordability crisis. Sign number 3. You've probably heard about it, but the city of Vancouver is trying to make some short-term rental policy changes. I will include in the description below information of where I'm getting this information from, so you can get all the information and detailed terms and conditions and fine print when it comes to this policy change. Everybody knows that short-term rentals is just not allowed in the city. Not in houses, not in apartments, it's just not allowed. How are they enforcing it? That's a different story. But one of the changes they're trying to make is that, okay, we will allow principal residence owners to rent out their properties short term, but for secondary residences, like investment property, they are planning to ban short-term rentals for those properties, the investment properties, and basically any properties that are not your principal residence. And everyone knows that a majority of the basement suites in the city are unauthorized suites. They are also trying to crack down on that as well, in the sense that they are banning short-term rentals for these unauthorized suites. Sign number 4. There were talks in the past couple months about a speculation tax. I think it was the Green Party or the NDP, I forgot, was mentioning that, okay, if you're buying a secondary property, we're gonna slap in a speculation tax on you. And this speculation tax would apply for those people who do not work or live in BC and then they leave their homes empty as well. So this also puts fear in those investors who maybe live half of the year in Asia and then half of the year here, or maybe half of the year in the US or Europe, and maybe they have investment property or they want to buy some properties and maybe park some money in Vancouver real estate. So the possibility of a speculation tax really doesn't comfort these investors' perspective. And though this tax is just in the brainstorming stage, and because the media wrote about it, a lot of people are just taking it easy and watching how the market responds. Sign number 5. Everyone knows that late last year they were talking about the 1% vacancy tax, and that people who leave their homes vacant for more than 180 days out of the year would be assessed a penalty of 1% of their tax assessed value as a tax. So if your property was tax assessed at $2 million, you'd be assessed a penalty of $20,000. The realtor community was thinking about how the government was going to enforce this. It's still not clear how the government is going to enforce this, but basically it's a yearly declaration that you would declare whether your property was vacant for that amount of time or not. I talked to some lawyers and accountants. How can they prove this? How can we mitigate this? And they said it's too new to be able to say much about it. But anyways, the fact that they had this vacancy tax implemented put another policy out there to try to slow down the market. Sign number 6. People know in the past couple of weeks the Bank of Canada has finally increased the prime rate from 2.7 to 2.95%. We know that this was inevitable. They had talked about raising the rates for a long time, and we know that even though they're going to raise the rates, they're not going to raise it like 2 or 3 or 4% right away. They would probably raise it 0.25 and then wait how the market responds, and then raise again, and then see how the market responds. They're not just going to slap on a 2% increase. Sign number 7. Along with Bank of Canada increasing their prime rates from 2.7 to 2.95%, the banks have started to increase their rates as well. And they started making it harder for people to qualify for high ratio mortgages. High ratio mortgages are those who are putting down a down payment of less than 20%. Usually they have to qualify at a particular benchmark of 4.64%. They have increased that to 4.84%, making it harder for someone to qualify for a mortgage. This, coupled with the Bank of Canada increase in interest rates, and coupled with all the other 5 signs I mentioned earlier, it's creating a lot of uncertainty and fear for the real estate home buyer or seller out there right now. The most important question: is this leading to a Vancouver real estate bubble or Vancouver real estate slowdown? In my professional opinion, I don't think so. Has it been slower in some areas of the market? Yes, it has. The condo and townhouse market is still strong, stronger than last year. Is it as strong as earlier this year, meaning like early spring? No, it's slowing down. It's summer right now. It's actually slowing down, which is historically the case. For houses in 2017, the market's not that strong. The condos and townhouses are buying and selling like hotcakes, but houses, on the other hand, this year has been slowing down. Is it crashing? No, it's not crashing. Is it slow? Definitely that is the case. Is it a 20% drop, a 30% drop, or 40% drop? No, it's not. But for some people who really need to sell to move to another country for work, or they have legitimate reasons why they need to sell, possibly they might have to sell at a lower price than what they were expecting. From last year, we had the foreign buyers tax. It created about a 10%, 5 to 10% dip in the market for most houses. And it did recover earlier this year, but now we're seeing a little slowdown in the single detached housing market. There's a lot of investors out there who are sitting on the sidelines. From those 7 signs, they're seeing how the market will play out. Actually, right now it's a strong buyer's market in several areas. It's a great time to buy some houses out there right now, but a lot of people are actually, it's funny because in a buyer's market, most people should end up buying, but in a buyer's market, you would see a lot of people holding back and waiting. And it's funny, in a seller's market, you'd think that people would list their property on the market because it's a good time to sell. But a lot of times, people hold off selling and they actually try to buy during a seller's market, which is actually contrary. When it's a seller's market, you should sell. When it's a buyer's market, you should buy. But obviously, everyone's case is different. Make sure you talk to your realtor and talk about your short-term plans, your long-term plans, and see whether you should buy or sell in any market. Once again, this is the Everything Real Estate channel. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, or maybe you're a realtor and you want to find out some more information, subscribe to this channel. comment below and you may be responsible for the topic for the next video. Once again, it's Gary Wong from GaryWongRealty.com, and until next time, God bless you. Thanks guys for watching my video. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Email me if you have any more questions. Thank you.